Some games have no purpose, and they never will. And to understand if that's okay, we're gonna first need to analyze not only one of the most important aspects of games, but of life itself. Currently, you are trapped. You're a prisoner. You always have been since the day you were born, and like it or not, there's no way out. Well, there's almost no way out. See, we're all born into our own unique, mildly customizable lives, but the person you are right now, the life you're currently living in, there's no real way out of that. But if there was a way out, it would be found in stories. An art form strewn across the walls of ancient caves, etched into the bricks of ancient civilizations, and inscribed in books written anywhere from 1,000 years ago to modern times. Stories are a way to learn, they're a way to explore, a way to travel through the memories or imaginations of another person for a short time. But stories do something else too. They give you the ability to temporarily be freed from your everyday life and experience something new. Something different, something otherworldly. For a short time, you can go from being a hardworking middleman for a corporation you probably don't care about to being a knight tasked with saving your childhood friend from some unknown evil. Or from a busy, overworked retail worker to a legendary monster-slaying witcher. Or even a student drowning in work to a student drowning in work who's also a felon? To each their own, I suppose. When you play a Zelda game, you get to wonder what you would do in this situation. You can explore this new world and do things you could never imagine. You get to experience things like a life or death fight with monsters and villains trying to destroy the world. This is one of the biggest reasons stories are so important. They're effectively the only way to break that restriction imposed on all of us. Thanks to stories, we don't have to just live this one life. We have the ability to explore thousands. But that's not all they can do. We're used to the world we're living in because, well, we live in it. And the more time that passes, the more mundane and predictable it becomes. Stories don't have to deal with this problem. They have the ability, at any moment, to change everything you thought you knew about the world and its inhabitants. This isn't to say life can't change, I mean, just look at the past few years. But stories can make these changes in a controlled, deliberate way that makes them all the more satisfying. One of the most iconic moments of this is Blue being the champion in Red and Blue. You fight your way through the Elite Four only to have your whole world flipped upside down with the revelation that you're not the champion. Your rival, the one you've been fighting this whole game, he's the new champion. Well, for the next 10 minutes, that is. All of the build-up for this twist is what makes it so incredible. This whole journey, Blue's been one step ahead of you, and now, naturally, he's the champion first too. There are plenty of twists in games that completely change the way you look at it, but obviously I don't want to talk about those since it's better if you just experience them for yourself. However, a great example of this can be found in an iconic scene from Star Wars.
I am your father.
This scene isn't just incredible because it's the moment Luke finds out his greatest enemy is his own father, but also because it makes us ask so many more questions. Why is the son of the most evil dude in the galaxy raised on this remote planet in the middle of nowhere? Why is Luke's father evil? Did Vader pay any form of child support? These questions and dozens of others are instantly raised at this moment. But stories have one last trick they can pull off. They give us the chance to have endings that are both satisfying and conclusive. I mean, think about it. How often does the underdog actually win? Look at the Cavs in 2016. Their storybook ending of coming back from a historic deficit in the finals doesn't happen. In fact, it literally only happened one time. Why? Because that's not how real life works. When someone's better than you, when the odds are stacked against you, when your back is against the wall, you don't always get the fairy tale ending. Honestly, you usually don't get the fairy tale ending, but stories can build the narrative in a way that'll make the ending worth it every single time. All of this and more comes together to give a reason to finish games. You want to see what happens next, what kind of changes the world will experience, and what the characters will go through on their journeys. Stories give purpose, and it's in that purpose that we're forced to see these adventures through till the end. So then, do games without a story have no purpose? Well, technically they don't. Minecraft, for example, is a great example of a game with no purpose. Sure, you can kill the Ender Dragon, but that's not really the reason people play this game. There are thousands of ways to play this game, from hanging out with friends on servers, playing mini games, building castles, just surviving. The list goes on. It's a truly limitless game because there's no deliberate direction from the developers. They don't want you to do anything but enjoy the game in whatever way is best for you. Mario Kart is a bit like this too, albeit to a lesser extent. Once you finish all the courses in Mario Kart, there's really no reason to play the game anymore. Unless, of course, you just want to race around with your friends, or maybe get a better time, or maybe you just like the spectacle of it all. See, the reality is that gameplay is the reason you play these games. There's no story pushing you forwards, there's no deeper meaning here, but don't let that fool you into believing that gameplay isn't just as complex, if not more so, than story is. Games that focus on gameplay have a few unique advantages, first of which being their ability to teach the player a skill. There's honestly nothing more satisfying than working on a skill and doing your best to master it. That feeling when you finally get it is entirely unmatched by anything else. That's what makes good gameplay so much fun. It grants you a feeling that few things can. Check out this challenge from Shovel Knight. In this, I'm tasked with climbing this tower before this electric bar catches up to me, all while dodging these obstacles along the way. This is an optional part of the game, and the reward is relatively small, it's just some money. But you don't beat this challenge for the money. You do it because after trying again and again, it feels incredible to finally conquer this challenge. Most gameplay-heavy games have things like this. Optional bosses, platforming challenges, the list goes on. These obstacles are here to test your perseverance, but more than that, your skill and mastery over the mechanics of the game. And it's not just a matter of skill. Gameplay can dramatically increase immersion too. By reflecting what the character is experiencing through gameplay, you can create a far more immersive experience for the player. Hades is a fantastic example of this. So here's a quick synopsis. Zagreus, son of Hades, is tired of living in the underworld and wants to see his mom, so he decides to leave. Small problem, to do so he has to defy the will of the god of death. Not a particularly easy task. Many have tried, no one has been successful. And you figure out why shortly after starting the game. It's hard, you lose very often, the challenges seem impossible, and the only way to get through is by persisting and getting more skilled. It's frustrating, it's exhausting, it's unrelentingly merciless in what it throws at you. This is exactly what Zagreus is experiencing, as with each escape attempt, both of you are trying your best to get out. This gameplay enhances Zagreus' story far more than anything you could write would. Gameplay doesn't create purpose just as much as story doesn't. Games give us the ability to explore new worlds, meet new people, and see and do things we never could have without them. It's not just in stories that we're able to explore another life. We can do so in gameplay as well. And the feeling that both story and gameplay invoke together are what makes this medium so special. Plenty of other mediums can show you another world, what it looks like, what it sounds like, but only games have the ability to show you what it feels like to actually be there. And they're only able to do this not because of gameplay, not because of story, but because of the excellence and brilliance of both. But there is a more important question than gameplay versus story. Are video games getting worse? Well, that's what this video is about.